Hi everyone, and welcome to this Nexodus webinar. I'm Isa, a member of the technical team here at Nexodus, and in today's webinar, we're going to look at how you can supercharge your help desk using our latest integration with OpenAI. Let's start with a bit of housekeeping. The webinar will last around 20 minutes, and we'll be taking questions throughout. Just make sure that you post all your questions within the Q&A section on Zoom, rather than the chat function. Our amazing team is on deck and ready to answer any questions that you have as we go along. All our webinars are recorded, and you can find them on our knowledge base at help.nexodus.com, as well as on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Nexodus. Without further ado, let's dive into the webinar. Let's start with, what is OpenAI? It's been a hot topic for the last couple of months, but put very simply, OpenAI is just a tool that understands and generates human-like text. You can think of it as a virtual helper that can answer questions based on content that you've previously shared with it. With the example of ChatGPT, we're talking about a lot of the content that is out there, and in the case of our integration, we're talking about your FAQ. So how the OpenAI integration works is that your customer would ask a question through your help desk, and as they send that request, OpenAI would scan their request and try to match an answer for that within your FAQ. If there is an answer for their question within your FAQ, the customer would get an instant response based on that. Now that can feel a bit abstract, so let's have a look at what it is in practice. The customer would just fill out their help desk request and just submit it. Normally, without OpenAI, they would have to wait for an admin to check it and give them an answer. But with OpenAI, they can get an instant reply. If they open their request and check the reply, they can see some information about how to troubleshoot their Wi-Fi, as well as a link to the Wi-Fi FAQ page so that they can find more information if they need to. Now, you may ask yourself, why would you want to use the OpenAI integration instead of just having someone solve the help desk requests? And there's a bunch of reasons for that. The first one is just to be able to offer 24/7 instant support. You can help your customers at any time of day, any day of the year. For example, let's say a customer asks a question on a Friday evening, and your team is already gone, the space already closed for the weekend. The customer would have to wait until next Monday to get their answer. But with OpenAI, they could get it within seconds and enjoy their weekend. You can also streamline your operations. Having this time for your team to focus on members and more complex challenges, automating repetitive tasks such as solving help desk requests, and letting them focus on what really matters. And the last one is just simply cutting down cost. You can have faster and more consistent help desk support for less than $1. We've crunched the numbers, and for around 100 help desk requests, OpenAI can solve them within 15 minutes for $1 versus 25 hours and $300+ for a person manually solving them. The whole appeal of this integration is that the barrier of entry is so low. It would cost you less than getting a coffee at a regular coffee shop to start using it, and the value that you can add to your space is pretty huge. Now, OpenAI cannot solve any request, and there are some limitations. OpenAI can only answer one question per help desk message. So if the customer asks more than one question within their request, OpenAI will only tackle the first one that has a matching answer in your FAQ and then skip the rest. OpenAI also isn't able to remember or use previous help desk requests. So if a customer asks a question related to a previous thread, OpenAI will only answer based on your FAQ, not the previous answers. Some details about the integration itself as well. We use DaVinci 3 as the AI model, and the setup time will run about 2 hours. If your FAQ is pretty much ready, the integration only takes 2 minutes. Now, when it comes to price, OpenAI charges you per use. So as we said, around 100 help desk requests runs about $1. If you have 10, that would be 10 cents. If you have 200, it would be $2. Again, you're fully in control of how much you're charged through the billing setting through OpenAI that we'll dive into later. Now, what you need to integrate OpenAI is just a paid OpenAI account and a published FAQ in Nexodus. And we're diving into both of them, starting with OpenAI. If you don't have an OpenAI account yet, you can open one really easily at openai.com. Once you have your account, all you need to do is add a card payment detail. You can do that by going to Billing, Payment Method, and then click on Add Payment Method, adding your card details and submitting them. For demonstration purposes, we've already completed that within our account. And as mentioned previously, you can set up a limit for usage. Because we charge you, or OpenAI charges you based on how much you use the tool, you can set a hard limit and a soft limit. The soft limit means that you get a notification saying, hey, you've reached this cap, maybe be aware of how much you're spending on that. And then the hard limit is just stopping the integration from working once you reach the specific cap. As you can see here, we've used this account for a fair bit of testing, and we've reached a whopping 23 cents for the month of August. So it's still like extremely cost efficient, and these usage limits are more sort of extra security rather than a need. Now, you also need a published FAQ in Nexodus. What that means, if you're not familiar with FAQs, is that you have a bunch of articles under the community section and FAQ that cover common questions that your customers will ask. This is what it looks like from the admin side, and this is what it looks like from the customer side, whether it's opening times or door access, for example. Now, the way you write your FAQs matters. And we have a bunch of tips for writing or editing your FAQ, whether you have them already or whether you're just trying to tweak them to prepare them for OpenAI. The first one is pretty simple and straightforward. It's to be clear and concise. The clearer you are, the easier it will be for the tool to skim through your content and find the relevant answer. The second one would be to use consistent terms. So for example, if you're talking about Wi-Fi, always call it the Wi-Fi. Or if you're talking about phone booths, always call them phone booths. You can use any term you want as long as you're consistent with it. The other thing that you want to take into consideration is having one FAQ article per topic. So as you can see in the screenshot, you can see that we have sections such as info and troubleshooting, and within each section you have an article or an FAQ per specific topic, whether that's opening hours, how you recycle, what is a team, things like that. The last thing that you should take into consideration through your FAQ is to maybe use closed help desk requests for integration. If you've been using help desks for some time, or the Nexodus help desk for some time, you will have access to a bunch of closed tickets. So if we go back to the admin panel and you go to help desk, we filter the view by closed, select any of them and export them. We'll have access to an Excel spreadsheet that gives us access to all the questions that customers have asked in the past. The questions asked by the customers are in the message text column, and they're a great place to start and look into your FAQ. For example, customers ask this question, do we have an answer for it? And just build your FAQ from that. Once your FAQ feels ready and you have your paid OpenAI account, you're just ready for the integration setup. It's really simple and only has 3 steps. The first one is creating an OpenAI API key, then use that API key to enable the integration in Nexodus, and lastly, just test the integration. So let's do that live. If we go back to OpenAI, there is a section in the navigation menu called API keys. From there, you can just create a key, give it a name, and create the key. API keys are very much like passwords, so make sure that you don't share it around. We recommend just going through the whole integration process in one go as it's really quick. Here, you can just copy the API key, head over back to the admin panel, click on Settings, Integrations, and scroll all the way down to find the OpenAI integration. Once you're there, all you need to do is enable the OpenAI integration, add your API key, and then save your changes. Now, the integration isn't quite live yet. What you need to do now is train the model, or train OpenAI, using your FAQ. You can do that very easily in a click by clicking on Train Model. Once it says trained here, you can close the integrations page and go back to Community and FAQ to just make sure that all your published FAQs are AI ready. Again, this is a good way to check that all your FAQs are published, as that is required in order to use the integration and then have them available whenever customers ask questions. If we go back to the integration now, here let's start with maybe when is the space closed. So, are you closed for the bank holiday let's say summer, specify which one, summer bank holiday, and then get the answer. Here you can see that the answer is yes, we are closed for the summer bank holiday, and it will show you the document that says, or that gives the information to the customer. You can test the integration as much or as little as you'd like. It's really a matter of striking a balance here. You cannot test every single scenario or every single question, but it's a good idea to just cover the basics and cover all the important ones. Once that's ready and you feel confident that the integration can give the answers that you want, all you need to do is just enable this toggle that says respond to help desk messages and save your changes. Your help desk is now effectively live, or your automated help desk, I should say, is now effectively live. If we go back to the members portal and maybe try to ask a question as a customer here, for example, related to IT, and say Wi-Fi, and I say, I can't connect to the Wi-Fi. Can you help? Just submit your request, and within seconds, you will get a reply. Here you have the answer and the different options, as well as the link to the general article regarding Wi-Fi. Let's try with another one, maybe the general, let's say bank holiday, and the customer is asking, are you closed on the summer bank holiday? You submit your request, and you'll be able to see the answer straight away. And yes, we are closed, as well as the opening times article that lets them check for the general holiday closures. Now, if we head back to the admin panel, we can see that the help desk requests are still considered open, but they have an AI responded tag. The reason why they're open is because the customer hasn't closed them yet. Once the customer has closed them, they'll be considered as solved and go to the close section. So here, let's try to do that. Close the help desk request and just maybe ask another one where we know for sure there is no answer. So for example, question, can I cancel my plan last minute? Submit your request, and here the request will be considered open. There is no answer yet because we couldn't find any answer. And in this case, the regular process would take place. So if there is a department person in charge, they would get a notification and we would expect them to answer the customer's question. Again, you can easily spot which ones were responded by AI and which one were missed. If you start seeing a lot of AI missed, it may be time to look into the integration and check if everything is running smoothly. Which takes me to the next point, which is troubleshooting and what to check when OpenAI isn't quite working as expected. The important thing here is to look at both sides, on the Nextedis side and on the OpenAI. On the Nextedis side, the two main things that can go wrong is having your integration disabled. So maybe another admin disabled it by accident, or you disabled it. Now, the other one would be to not have a published FAQ. So if you ever make an FAQ internal, or you forget to publish a new FAQ that I've put together, and you try to ask a question related to that, OpenAI won't be able to answer that. So that's the main two issues that you can have on the Nextedis side. And then on the OpenAI side, what can happen is to have your API key deleted, again, maybe by another admin. And the other main issue that you can run into is to reach the price cap. If you have a lot of help desk requests and you reach that cap, it's pretty easy to troubleshoot, and you can just go back to your OpenAI account, go to billing, usage limits, and just either increase the hard limit or just accept that the integration won't work until the following month where the limits reset. So these are the main issues that you can run into with the integration. Now, moving on to the key takeaways of this webinar. The whole purpose of OpenAI is to let you open a 24/7 help desk in under 2 hours for less than $1. This is such a low barrier to entry tool that can help you save so much time and save so many resources. It also gives your admin more time to focus on your members' experience and on challenging tasks. The last one would be also that you can use your help desk exports as a way to pinpoint where your customers need more help or need more content in order to use your space and make the most out of their experience with you. And that takes us to the end of this webinar. Thank you so much for joining. We'll leave the Zoom open for another 10 minutes for additional questions, and the recording will be available on our knowledge base at help.nexodus.com, as well as on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Nexodus, shortly after the end of this webinar. We hope you learned something new today and that we've convinced you to give OpenAI a try to supercharge your help desk. We hope to see you soon on our next webinar and wish you a great day or afternoon.